So, I just want to share with y'all something that I am struggling with. And I wasn't even gonna do this. I don't even like coming on here looking like I've been crying. But I'm gonna be obedient. So when I was younger, the form of communication in my house was not bad. It was very dysfunctional. There was a lot of I'm trying not to cry. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of bickering. Like my family did know how to communicate, and we're still learning how to do that. I'm learning how to do that. And one of the big things that has been like almost a constant is when I talk to people, it can be abrasive or rude. It can also be like in terms of yelling and things like that. So I got the conscious decision to, allow God to help me in that area, because I don't want to be seen as somebody who likes to yell at people or who doesn't know how to hold a conversation. And I've come a very long way with it. Like, I used to block people just because I knew that if I were to say anything to you, it was not going to be nice. So I'd rather save you and myself the embarrassment or just like the shame or, anything like that. Like for years, I have been really, even when I didn't have my relationship with God, I was like, I still want to be somebody who speaks to people with grace, with wisdom, with love, with kindness and respect. And even still to this day, I feel like I don't get that in return. I feel like people can talk to me any kind of way and say whatever they want to say to me in any type of format, and like I'm not supposed to say nothing. And it sucks because I know that God looks at me at the end of the day on what I'm doing. But I do have my moments like, well, what about them? Like, they talk to me crazy. They were disrespectful to me. And I'm supposed to sit back and take it. I'm supposed to be okay. I'm supposed to forgive them. I'm supposed to still love on them and still care for them. And I don't want to. And right now, I'm struggling so hard, y'all. So yesterday, there was a situation at my job. Young lady that I'm working with, sweet lady. She's a sweet young girl. And she is very kind-hearted. She has a very sweet spirit. She loves kids. She's been working with kids for a minute. I don't really know how long though. But we've been kind of like, I've been kind of like chatting with her a little bit since she started. About, speaking up for herself and things like that, because when I was working with her, when I would come in to help her, she would express how she doesn't really know where anything is. Nobody is really taking the time to help her. And I was like, I don't have a problem with that, because I know what that feels like when you are in a new space with new people. It could be like a field, like I've been working with kids for 12 years and people think that this is my first time working with kids, and they also think that I'm younger than what I actually am. So I, would give like suggestions, not necessarily tell her what to do, anything like that. And we had this same conversation again yesterday. And yesterday, when I went in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let her run the room today. I need to make sure that she knows how to manage her class, because I'm not gonna come in here every day or every time I need to work with you and take over your class for you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a space to where I have to feel like I have to do your job for you, especially because I got my own job. Like, I don't want to have to do your job for you. So, when I came in, like, things were like very chaotic. Like, the kids were all over the place. I think she was kind of like straightening up in the back. And they were also in the process of getting ready to get snack. And apparently it was one of their friends' birthday. and they had cupcakes and juices and things like that. So, in getting that together, like cleaning up the room or whatever, like the conversation was good. It was, fairly neutral. She was expressing how she likes working with me and another other young lady that she's working with. But this time, like, the conversation was the same, but it was different. And in my head, I was like, I really don't want to hear this today. Like, it's a lot going on. They have programs and stuff this week. We got to make sure that these rooms are literally, like, spick and span. Like, I don't have time for this today. So I was in my own emotion. I was in my, obviously in my flesh at the time. But I was still relatively kind to her, trying to listen, but also trying to manage the class, because when you have over 13 toddlers, like babies who are walking and talking, playing around, like rough playing and things like that, we don't have time to have conversation, at least not today, because there's so much that is needed of us that we need to do. And this room needs to be clean, and I need to be out of here on time today. I didn't want any overtime this week. I wanted to get off work on time. So in the midst of that, just like giving her different suggestions and things like that, make things easier for you. Because she would tell me like how she would know where things are. And I was like, okay, well, if you don't know where things are, then you need to start speaking up and letting people know, hey, where do you keep your wipes? Where do you keep the diapers or Pampers or pull-ups or whatever? Where do you keep creams and stuff that they need if you need? Where do you keep trash bags, gloves? Like basic essentials and stuff for your classroom. You should know where that stuff is. So I would just like encourage her, okay, well, if you don't know, then you need to start making sure that you start speaking on that. Like start telling people like, I don't know where this stuff is. For me, I catch on fairly quick. Some people take a little longer. So in the conversation, it was like, okay, yeah, cool, and this, that, and the third. Like she was agreeing with it, but there was something else about the conversation that was like, I feel like this is finna take a left turn, or like a hard left, and it did, and it happened twice. So the first time, there were some parents that had came in, and sometimes parents are forgetful. They don't know that you have runners if you don't say anything. Well, she has like a multitude of runners, like ones I know for sure that if a door is left open, they will run out of the classroom. And 3 kids ran out of the classroom yesterday, and I had to go grab them and chase them down the hallway. I shouldn't have to do that. Your children should know when the door is open that they don't. My class knows when that door is open, you better not run out this classroom. I guarantee you my students understand that. And they're around the same age, about three or four. I think I have a couple twos. But they understand that when Miss Nat opens that door, you better not run out of this classroom. So for your students to not know that, and they think that everything is a game, that means that no boundaries and stuff are involved, but that's neither the point. So in that moment, the parents leave or whatever, and I told her, I said, hey, you need to start telling your parents that you have runners and to close the door when they come in your classroom, because if not, you will this is going to be an ongoing thing, and I'm not getting in trouble for you because you can't regulate your students and you don't have boundaries. She was like, yeah, okay, cool. So then we get the class cleaned up or whatever, around this time people are picking up their kids. I suggested 3 times within the last of this time frame from when I was talking about the kids running up until this point about checking for diapers, checking for pull-ups to see who needs to be changed, who needs to go potty, making sure that she logs it, because you don't know anything, you don't know how to do anything. So if this is going to be something that you need, then this is what's going to happen on today, because I'm not going to do it for you today, because every time I come in a classroom, I'm always doing all the heavy lifting. And it's not that I don't mind, but there has to come a point in time where you have to draw a line in the sand. You need to step up to the plate, and you have to take control of your class. You have to do what works for you and stop depending on other people to do it for you, or to do it. And when they do it, you think it's a service done unto you, and it's not a service done unto you. I'm doing this because it needs to be done, not because I'm looking for a thank you. So 3 times, hey, check for diapers, see who needs to be changed. Check for diapers, see who needs to be changed. Check for diapers, see who needs to be changed. I'm not doing it. Not because I don't want to, because you need to know how to do your job. So a pair of grandparents comes in the classroom, right? I'm at the changing table. I believe I was doing something on the tablets, like kind of straightening up and cleaning up and things like that. And usually when they come in, they greet their grandson, sweet little boy. Well, the grandmother hugged him. And y'all know when kids, when they poop on themselves, you can smell it. Well, she checked his clothes, excuse me. She checked his clothes and she backed up like, why is he not changed? What's going on? Like, you could see it on her face. But then she kind of changed it and it was like, it's okay. Because her husband had to step in. He was like, is he dirty? She was like, she made that face like, why did they not change him? Like, what's going on? He was like, it's okay. That just means we have to change him. Now, me personally, as a teacher, as a preschool teacher, I do not like my parents changing their kids because that's my job. You shouldn't be changing your child unless you want to, or unless you know that you're like going to be like on a long trip or something, like you're going out of town, or maybe you're going across town, or maybe you're dropping them off somewhere and you know that the drive is going to be long and you want them to like use the bathroom or even put on a fresh pull-up than the one that they already had, then I'll let you do that. Like, you'll tell me like, is it okay? And I'll say yes, because I'm not going to tell you no, like that's your child. But for the most part, I don't like my parents changing my students because I feel like that's my responsibility throughout the day. And you shouldn't have to come in and touch any type of dirty diaper or anything like that. They were fine with it. They changed him. In the midst of that, I was consulting, not consulting, but what's the word I'm trying to use? Consoling a child. I think I said it right the first time. I was holding a child in my arms because she was crying, and I told her to drop the paper that you have in your hand now and check your students. Don't just check them if they pooped. Check to see if they peed. I saw 4 that one of them who's she doesn't wear like pull-ups or anything, but she needed to go to the bathroom. It was around the time for her to go to the bathroom. But there were 3 other students who needed to be changed because you can tell just based off of like the front of their clothes that they were heavy. So she goes to put the stuff down. I get up and I take another student to use the bathroom. And in the bathroom, I'm with the student and she walks out. Now, I'm provisional, and what that means is that I can't be left in the classroom by myself until my background check comes back. So I can work, but until my background check comes back, I cannot be left alone in a classroom by myself. That is high grounds for like termination, firing, like anybody else, like higher person, like the woman that hired me could potentially get in trouble if I'm left in the classroom by myself. And if she finds out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. So in order to keep my job in place and to keep everybody else abreast of what's going on, I tell anybody, you cannot leave me in the classroom by myself. I'll go get it and you can stay here because I can leave and come back. Well, she knows I'm provisional. Like, this young lady knows I'm provisional, and she decided to leave the classroom anyway. And in talking to her in the duration of that moment, I was very stern and firm. Like, I already don't have a voice as it is. I was very stern. I was very firm in my voice. Like, basically telling her, you need to take over your class. Like, I'm not going to be doing this for you every time I come in here. That's just period. Because we all have responsibilities. We all have things that we need to do in our classrooms. And it is not up to somebody else who's not in our classroom to come and do our jobs for us when it's concerning our room. Like, obviously, if I'm coming in, like I'm coming in to team up with you, to support and encourage or whatever. But to take over your, like, this is your class. You, like, earlier, it's funny because earlier that day, I believe, or like earlier that week, a young lady who was in the class that I thought I was going to be in. I just went in to assist for like for the day, I think. And she had a game plan for what they were going to do. She had like cots and stuff for where she had a map of where they were going to sleep. Like, she had the whole classroom in order. I only needed to just come in and assist and help take pictures, make sure that things were uploaded on the tablet, make sure name to face was completed, make sure that kids were going to the bathroom on the regular, like little small things. So like we were both working together. But in this specific case for this other classroom, she hasn't created a balance for her yet. So when I go in there, I feel like it feels like my classroom. It feels like I'm doing my class, like how I run my class. Like, it feels like that's what I'm doing, if that makes sense. So, long story short, she was talking to our supervisor in the classroom. I didn't hear the conversation because at this point I'm trying to get kids to the bathroom and get them out of the bathroom because this is pickup time and I don't want anybody leaving out of here with a dirty diaper or a dirty pull-up or even an accident, and then the parents are looking at us crazy because even though this is not my classroom, I'm in here in the afternoons and they don't care who was in here this morning. They're looking at who's in here right now, and if I come in here and my child is not taken care of and they're in a dirty diaper, then I'm wondering how long have they been in a dirty diaper? Why isn't anybody changing my child? And to them, it just kind of looks like that we're neglecting their children, and I don't like that because that's embarrassing to me, especially because I take my job very seriously. So she tells the supervisor, because the supervisor comes to me after the conversation, and she was like, well, just so that you're aware of some things. She doesn't like the way that you talk to her. She says that you yelled at her, and she doesn't know where anything is, and she says something else, because she started explaining a little bit, and I was like, that's the same thing. We literally just had this conversation almost an hour ago. I told her that if she doesn't know where things are, then she needs to start asking for help with the people that she's in the classroom with, because this is not my classroom. I don't know where anything is. But if I can come in and open up cabinets and drawers and see where things are, so can you. So if I know where their pull-ups are and I'm not even in this class on a regular basis, why is it that you don't know where their pull-ups are? They have backpacks. Check their backpacks. They may have wipes in their backpacks. They may have extra clothes and stuff in their backpacks. They may have, socks and things like that when they have accidents and stuff like that. So why is it that I can use my brain to check and you in here every day and I'm only in here for like an hour or two in the afternoon? And I may not know where things are, but I look. So I also told her, I didn't yell at her. I was very stern and very firm in what I was telling her, because this is the second time that a parent has come and picked up their child, and in your care they have been dirty, and I've been assisting you, and I don't like that, because they're not just going to look at you, they're going to look at me. So I think everything was just kind of like I overlooked everything, but it was like the yelling part when she said that I yelled at her that I've been struggling with since like this morning. And I was asking God, I was like, I don't know what's going on, like what's wrong, but I can't focus, I can't study, I can't do anything. So I was like, well, let me open up the book of Proverbs, because usually when I open up the book of Proverbs, I can kind of like reel myself back in. That's another one of my favorite books in the Bible. It speaks on wisdom, how to speak, and things like that. So I think that's why I gravitate towards that a lot, because I desire to make sure that my speaking is laced with grace and faithful instruction and wisdom, and not to taint anybody's hearts or dishearten anybody or impugn anybody's dignity or speak down on anybody, because I know how that feels. So I want to always make sure that I'm speaking with the words of the Holy Spirit. So to hear that somebody who was just raving about they enjoy working with me and things like that, and how I'm always helping them, to then turn around and say, oh, well, she yelled at me. I didn't yell at this girl. She was offended and embarrassed. And she coupled that with yelling because of how she was feeling and because of my delivery. Y'all can hear me talk. I barely have a voice to speak, yet alone to be yelling at anybody. But I was sitting here and I had told God, I'm tired, bro. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, for years, I've heard, or people would tell me, or I would find out, in side conversations that, people don't like the way I talk to them. And I would pray and I would ask God to help me in that area, because I really want to speak in a way where people feel comfortable, where people feel loved, where people feel encouraged, where people feel inspired. And when people tell me, or when, I wouldn't even say people, but when I've heard it from people in my family, that, when I speak to them, it's abrasive or it's rude. And in my head, I'm like, but you speak like that to me, so what are you talking about? And I've learned, God has given me a special way to hear myself when I talk, so that I'm always, and I don't know if it may be a trauma response or what. I don't know at this point. But I do know that anytime I'm getting ready to have difficult or hard or tough conversations, I would literally ask the Holy Spirit, help me to hear myself, because if I say something wrong or that's out of line, I want to be convicted in that moment so I can fix it. Well, obviously, dealing with kids, you can't really stop and have like a 30-minute conversation. You kind of just have to keep going and then talk after, which is what I was going to do with her, but she left. So I was sitting here a few minutes ago, and I told God I was struggling. I'm struggling with this very, very hard, because it's getting to a point where I don't even want to talk anymore. I don't want to talk, because it seems that if I do say something, I'm rude, I'm abrasive, I'm being disrespectful, I'm being unkind with my words. And then if I don't say anything, I'm stuck up, or she act like she know everything, she don't want to talk to nobody. Y'all, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this for real. It's hard, because I know that with every waking moment, with every word that comes out of my mouth, I always want the Lord to speak through me, to speak, through my words to other people, because I do know that my words can be hurtful. I know that. I'm very aware of that. Just because of who I was in my past. I'm very aware that if somebody says something to me out of line, I'm coming at you right back, and I'm gonna hurt your feelings more so than you hurt mine. I understand that about myself. I'm not proud of that, right? But I've also recognized that I can be soft with my words. I can be kind with my words. I can be encouraging with my words. And it seems like when I started to lean into that more, like the enemy just like kept coming. And it's been like a constant thing for maybe like the past 3 years or so. It's been from one specific person that's been constant, or maybe two. I don't know about another individual, but I know two for sure. It's like, I don't like the way that you talk to me and things like that. But what they are describing is how they speak to me. And I told God, I was like, I'm tired, because it seems like I'm the only one that's taking accountability for how I indulge in conversations. It seems like I'm the only one taking accountability for how I speak to people, and I'm coming in like, God, show me where I went wrong so I can go fix it. But it doesn't seem like anybody else is taking that same initiative, and it's annoying, and it hurts my feelings for real, because I pride myself on really speaking with integrity and honesty and love and kindness. So to continue to hear people, and this girl don't even know me, so for her to say that I yelled at her was very triggering for me. And I don't know what to do, y'all. I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't know, man. This is the first probably like transparency post I posted, because I wasn't gonna do this, but the Holy Spirit was like, somebody needs to see this. I don't know who this is for, but your girl is struggling. Okay, struggling hard, because learning how to pull back from my family dynamic and how we communicate and trying to do things right is hard. And it just seems like I feel like I take 10 steps forward and I'm getting knocked 50 steps back. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a challenge, because you want people to see who you are now. Like, you want people to be a part of the transformation that you've gone through. And it just seems like the enemy is still using things from your past to pick you apart. And it's the worst feeling in the world. Worst feeling in the world. I couldn't even focus this morning during my study time. And I asked God, like, what is it? Like, what is this? Like, why is this something that is continuing to pop up? Like, am I really the problem for real? Even after spending years of diminishing myself for other people, pleasing other people. Sometimes I would go into spaces and I wouldn't even say anything because I don't want to come off rude. I don't want to come off disrespectful. But if I don't say anything, oh, when she stuck up, she thinks she, like, y'all see what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. And I never try to put myself in a position where I know anything, or where I know things, or where I think I know something better than somebody else, or even where I'm not too vulnerable to be open and to be transparent. Because like I said, I be seeing people get up on here crying, and I don't like that. But I don't know who this is for. I know it's for somebody, I just don't know who. But I think for me, just I don't want to become too overly cautious in the things that I say. Like, oh man, I can't say this around. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna be walking around on eggshells for anybody. But it really sucks that I feel like I can't get that same respect from other people, even people in my family. Like, people have called me out my name, have disrespected me to my face. People have said a lot of wild things about me. And even though, like, I know it's not true, like, I do have my moments where that stuff hurts my feelings. And it sucks because God knows I'm 30. So I spent, like, majority of my life trying to please people and making sure that I say things the way that I'm supposed to say it, so that I don't hurt their feelings, because I know that they don't like it when I talk like that. So it's like I have the intentionality to be more aware of what I'm doing and how I'm speaking to people. But I don't feel like that people do the same thing for me. And it's hard. But I know that, like, I don't know what God is doing. I don't. And I don't know what's on the other side of what's happening now. Because it's definitely some spiritual warfare, which is crazy, because when I prayed over my classroom yesterday, the Holy Spirit told me to pray for Ephesians 6. And in my Bible, I think this is a CSB version of Tony Evans with the commentary. It talks about spiritual warfare. And in the notes at the bottom, I wish I could, like, I don't know if y'all be able to see this, but like the notes down here. So I highlighted it, right? And it, even though it talks about, like, my job and things like that, it's talking about spiritual warfare. So, let me see. So in one of my margins up here, it says, always keep this truth in mind. You're not fighting for victory. You're fighting from a position of victory. Christ has secured the victory for you, and he offers it through the armor of God. The victory is yours when you are well dressed for warfare. And then at the bottom down here in my commentary notes, it says to serve Christ in your job, obey your employer as long as he doesn't ask you to disobey Christ. Whether or not the boss is around, God is always watching. And even if your boss doesn't appreciate your efforts or is unfair, your work will never go unnoticed or be in vain. You work for an unseen employer who sees all and will reward you. Then it says, if you are the boss, you're under divine authority too. Employees may be under you in position, but they are equal to you in value. They bear the image of God, so honor their dignity and treat all your employees with equity, consistently applying righteous standards to them. The part that stood out to me the most is God is always watching. God is always watching. Always watching. And the number one thing I ask God, if you know I've done something wrong, tell me so I can fix it. because I know that you're looking at me. I know you examine my heart every day. I know that you are examining my ways. I know that you know me better than I know myself. And I know that you know my intentions. So if I do something wrong, tell me in that moment so I can go back and fix that. And the Lord has been so gracious and so kind to do that for me. So yesterday, when my supervisor told me that she said that, it instantly, it really made me upset, because I know that the Lord is watching everything I do, every conversation I have, every thought I have, every act that I do or don't do, every act of obedience or disobedience. He's watching me. So why would I take that opportunity in front of other people to talk to you like you are an incompetent child, to yell and to scream at you? Now, I did admit to the fact that I know I embarrassed her in front of them, and I know I offended her. So that I can take accountability for. But when I say I cannot continue to take accountability for people telling me that I'm yelling at them when I'm literally speaking with them in a neutral tone, and it hurts my feelings when people say that, because like for a long time, like I said in the beginning of this video, my family don't know how to communicate, and we are learning. So growing up with a mom yelling at you over stupid things, family, we can't even have decent conversations without somebody getting offended or without somebody over talking that turns into yelling. Like, it is hard, but I know that God is watching, and I know that I know he knows his child. He knows his daughter. But I don't know what God is going to do with this, because my feelings are really hurt. And I was going to get on here and talk to y'all, but he told me to talk about this instead. So, if you're ever in a position where you know that you have done the work and you've seen the fruit of it, know that God is always watching. He's a God that sees you. He's a God that knows you. He knows your heart. He knows your intentions. He knows that everything that you are doing for him, it is for his kingdom, and it's because you're being obedient. And anybody who can't see that is either just not tapped in, or it's a trick of the enemy, or God is testing you. But either way, feel your feelings. Feel your feelings, but don't stay there. Reflect over everything that God has done up until this point, y'all. God has done so much in my life. I wouldn't jeopardize it for anything or for anybody. I wouldn't take advantage of a moment and turn it into something that it doesn't have to be, or just be blatantly disrespectful to God, to myself, and to other people for a moment of power. I wouldn't do that. So y'all pray for me, because I need it. I'm struggling. But it's all gonna be okay. Whatever God is pulling out of me and putting in me, I know that it's for his glory. I know that it is to help somebody else and to minister to somebody else's heart. But trust me, you are not by yourself. Because the people that are meant to see your growth, to see your transformation, are the people that it's meant to see it. And those who don't see it, they either don't want to, don't care to, or are not supposed to. So, I love you guys. If anybody has any questions, feel free to DM me. I know my DMs are always open. But I love y'all. And I pray everybody has a good Friday. Resurrection Sunday is coming up, so I encourage you as well to take this time and really just sit in the Lord's presence, reflecting over his death and how he came down and how he died for us, how he nailed every of sin and every mistake on the cross just so we could live. God has been too good to me. God has been too good to you. So take some time and reflect this week, today, tomorrow, even on Sunday. Get quiet, be still, and let him speak to your heart. I love y'all, but Jesus loves you more. Bye.